Welcome back to the Good Builder podcast. Today we're diving into something that's really transforming how builders in Australia are operating. And the best thing I like about it is it's an Australian-made platform. The other thing I like about it are the gentlemen behind it. We've had one on the podcast before, and he's a bit of a legend, and we'll introduce them very shortly, both of them. But the other thing that I really like about this platform is, if you ask me, and they're using it in another business that they're part of, I believe this thing is totally battle tested in the field and with builders that, of varying experiences, from some with very little experience to some now with a lot of experience under the guidance of these two gentlemen. And I'm welcoming to the podcast the legend Glenn Leet, who we've had before. Welcome, mate.
Thank you.
Tim Martin. And today we're going to talk about iGyro. So how are you, fellas?
Really well, thank you.
Very well, thanks.
Cool.
You can put legend against my title too, if you like.
Oh, Tim, mate, you're a legend because, let's start with you, mate. No, that's a good intro to you. The legend, Tim, mate. So your position in this whole thing, you're the developer behind this. So did you do the technical aspects and things behind iGyro and stuff like that? And we've introduced Glenn actually to our community. I'd love to know a little bit about you, even though we've kind of know each other a little bit offline. But tell us a bit, mate.
Yeah, that's right. Like Glenn sort of brought me into the business to work on this software. So he's had this big vision of how the software was going to work and what it needed to achieve. So he's got a wealth of knowledge in the building industry, and I've got the tech side. So it's just a matter of putting those two together and making something that's usable by everybody, people that are varying levels of tech knowledge. So some barely know how to use a computer, others are really quite technical. So the software can work for all of those people. So
and that's what I was kind of saying. Oh, sorry, Tim, that I thought it's pretty battle tested, because for those of you who hadn't listened to our initial podcast with Glenn, and I'll put the link below in this podcast with it, Glenn is the founder and director, and Tim's a part of this as well, of Integrity New Homes. So, a very successful franchise company that's been around for a long time in Australia, do a great job. And that's why I'm saying it's battle tested. I used to work for a franchise myself, and I know the ebbs and flows of confidence in the franchisor sometimes when it comes to software. And it's so important. So maybe, Glenn, I'll start with you, mate. After we heard a bit from Tim, can you tell us a bit of the why behind you push to develop your own software rather than getting something off the shelf?
Yeah, sure. So the journey here started well before the franchise journey. We just had a large residential building business, and it was just the same as most builders, too much friction with various platforms. And as I even heard that this week, builders saying to me, "Oh, Glenn, we're using this and we're using that, and we're sort of cobbling it all together to make it work." And that was us, but a business that was growing very quickly and just got too hard. So we wanted a solution that actually worked for us and just was scalable. And so that's simply the reason. Affordability is another reason, mate. I get, in retrospect, that's not the case, because over time, as a developing software actually takes millions of dollars for anyone that's doing it well. But at the time, naively, we thought, we'll just do this ourselves. In time, that the cost has been justifiable because of the value add to the business.
But I guess, I think that's a really important point that you started with, Glenn. This whole software so it started before the franchise came about. It was your own building business back in the day.
That's right.
You couldn't find something off the shelf, so you wanted to create a solution. And that's what I love about it, actually, Glenn, because you were battle testing it in the field. I actually didn't even know that. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
About it being battle tested amongst franchisees. I think this was battle tested with you personally before you even brought it to the franchise network.
That's right.
Obviously, you wanted total confidence in it.
Well, and then we've just used the franchise business over the years to provide the feedback loop to where the weaknesses are, and then continue to develop the solutions.
And if I know something about franchising, they're not too shy to give feedback either.
No, and rightly so. That's fine.
it's great. And that's what I think, Glenn. I think that's great because you've got that relationship where there is that open communication because you're in that franchise network and you're talking to them day to day. So it must be a pretty impressive piece of software.
We think so. We think so. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears with any product that's been developed over. We're going on close to 20 years of development, so there's a lot gone into it.
Okay.
So constant evolution of changes there, like starting off as like a desktop application, and then as that feedback loop comes back in, there's more features that are added. And then obviously over time, there's modernization that has to occur as well, just to make it usable and keep up with what's happening in the industry.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm not a software developer, and you can see my face when Glenn said it's been developed over 20 years and I'm like, holy crap, like there's a lot that goes into it. So Glenn, sorry, Tim, actually, because you were, handling a lot of that technical stuff. Could you take us a little bit under the hood and tell us what's different sort of between this and what you've sort of created, what it can do? And what that last 20 years has maybe looked like.
Yeah, I suppose so. So I guess as we touched on just then, like it started off as a totally different application. So it was a desktop application, you're required to install it. But, the needs of people change and now everything's web-based. So that's where we're at the moment. And there's a full evolution of things that occur between that desktop version through to the web-based version as well.
Yeah.
But, it's Australian software built here for Australian builders. And I guess that's an advantage for us. Like we're not trying to do anything for the US. It's purely for Australians. So everything that happens in the software is for Australian builders, just down to how GST's handled, progress payments and those sorts of things. But it's, from our backstory there, like you can see that this software can also be used by, small builders, like an individual franchise. It might only be a mum and dad builder with 2-3 staff.
Yeah.
But all the way up to, large builders that might be pumping 200 homes a year through it, or complete franchise networks pumping thousands. So very versatile there.
Yeah.
Now we've got the evidence for that. We've got clients using it across that spectrum. So we're not guessing. We fit. Yeah.
Absolutely, Glenn. And that's some of the feedback we get from our community, to be honest. And why I was really keen to have you guys on is, there's some popular brands out there, and I won't name them. I have named them in past podcasts and got myself in trouble, but there's particular software ones that come over from America and things like that. And they're just totally not fit for purpose. I'll tell you what they do have. They've got great marketing and sales teams that'll sell you the world. I know you guys aren't saying this, I'm saying this because I like to educate the builders, but they do sell you the world. I've seen it happen. They tried to sell me the world, and then you actually try and apply it, and you're like, this is not fit for Australian standards. It's not fit for what we do here. And
there's definitely some challenges.
Yeah, challenges with that sort of stuff. No, that's a really interesting point, and it's definitely something that we've been receiving from the community. So there's a lot out there that are looking for Australian-made software that understand it.
As I should also point out that for our micro users, as in one user, which is where many businesses start, the software is free. Okay, the software is free
for one user.
For one user, a startup or a small business, the software is free. And we've done that because we believe that we're in it for the long run with our clients. And over time, if the software is the right solution, the business will scale. And then, of course, there's a cost per user, but on one. But it's just so low risk to put your toe in the water and give this sort of thing a try. And anyone that's genuinely interested in growing their business is going to need a software platform like this. So,
100%.
Yeah, we're supportive of those startups and make it easy, free, forever, for one user.
My goodness, Glenn. That's insane. I don't think I've ever heard, I don't think there's a product out there that does it. A product that's been developed over 20 years that does it too. Like you said, there's millions of dollars, and not even the dollars, the time and the experience. Like, again, one of the other things that I was really fascinated about you guys creating this is because of that feedback loop. You've done it yourself, Glenn. You're a successful builder yourself. You've done the game. You've then got the franchise network, and it's been pushed out there. And to give it away for free after 20 years of iteration and development, I find pretty crazy, but cool. Very cool. We'll put the link below where they can sign up. I mean, why wouldn't you? And you do find a lot of people at that stage. I remember, I think I might have told you, Glenn, in our past podcasts that I had a fascination with becoming a builder, and I started a building company with a builder on the Gold Coast called Avondale Homes, and we built these big luxury acreage homes. And it was a startup, so we were piecing together our programs, and you're probably going to laugh at this, and feel free to. We were using Asana, which is a task management platform for creative agencies, because that was my background, to track customers. That was our CRM, which could not send out emails and no automations, and you had to pretty much do everything yourself. An Excel spreadsheet for all our estimating. And that was sometimes pretty whacked out. Scheduling, Excel spreadsheet. How do you keep track of that? Because we didn't want to spend the money.
It's very common. I'm not surprised. I'm not laughing at it, because it's just every day. Like, so many builders are doing that. So I think we can add a lot of value by just one user, get the system set up, become familiar with the platform, and then as your business grows, we're in it with you.
Oh, it's fantastic. That's amazing. That shows a true partnership, I think, in a relationship. I think that, to give it away free forever. And I bet you have builders that they probably only stay at that level and forever. They're not paying for software, and one that just continually. And so do they, as part of the free, do they get the full gamut? They get whatever gets developed, as well as, just for free. So any new features that get developed, they get that.
100%. I mean, there's a caveat, mate, between the franchise business and the software business. Obviously, they're not getting the intellectual property of Integrity New Homes.
Yeah.
But they're getting the underlying software platform, and they need to populate that with their own intellectual property in time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yes, all features that are released, access to our webinar trainings, everything they need to make it work.
Amazing. That's amazing. Could you, maybe yourself, Tim, could you take us through, like, what is it? It's not just a job tracker. You can estimate in it. What else can the actual platform do for some of the builders out there? And especially to Glenn's point around some of those smaller builders that may be looking for software, and what some of the burden type tasks that it could take away. How we were talking about the weather. Actually, Tim, I was thinking about my old Avondale days, and I was thinking, imagine rescheduling all that stuff in this weather if we had Excel spreadsheets and trying to communicate with subbies.
It's interesting you say that. I probably should have mentioned that before as well when we're talking about, Australian specific things, is that we do integrate with the Australian Bureau for Weather. So we can track adverse weather as they occur on site. So you can sort of tell it where a job's sitting and track the amount of rain that's occurred on site. So over a certain threshold, you'll claim that adverse weather day, and you can send out letters to a client to say, look, we're increasing the project build time based on that adverse weather. So that's, part of your scheduling, I suppose.
Is that in a lot of other softwares?
I don't know that is. I think they may have some weather to say, look, it was a sunny day, but they don't know like the threshold, and don't have that integration to claim that sort of time.
Wow. Sorry, Tim. I just got excited about that feature because the impending weather that we're seeing at the moment. And I was thinking, I think I put a post up on LinkedIn yesterday, and I said, I feel so sorry for all the builders right now. Like, you're going through some tough times, let alone trying to hit the housing accord. We've got storms that are ripping through, and, hot weather and all that stuff. So the scheduling stuff. So that was cool, Tim. So, mate, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's right. So everyone can take something different from the software. So, you're excited about that adverse weather. So maybe someone's not going to be excited about that, but there's lots of other sections as well. Estimating. So you can do your rapid estimating for quoting jobs, estimating for bill of quantities and purchase orders, your site scheduling, accounting for accounts payable. But I guess the benefit is combining all those things together and integrating them all in your business. Some people may take just one or two of those. They might join and they'll take just the project scheduling side of that and work in their Gantt charts. But when all of these things work together, that's where you get the true power from. So it's saving time, it's efficiency, saving mistakes as well. So they all talk together. Your estimator might create a bill of quantities, which in turn creates some purchase orders.
Yep.
Project manager will mark off on their Gantt chart and say, look, a slab down has occurred. And automatically your accounts department knows that slab down's been achieved, and they know to claim a progress claim from the client. So obviously all of those things work independently, but because they all talk together, that's the true power.
And communication within the platform, Tim and Glenn. So There can be communication alerts that are done through the platform, from estimator to supervisor to whatever.
Mm.
What about the communication side of stuff? Is there a CRM facility within the
Mm.
platform?
Yeah, so the CRM's built in there, like all of your client details are in there, but you touch base on internal communication as well. And that's a
Yeah.
really strong suit of the Ojyro platform as well. So
Yeah.
you're setting up your workflows, and each department gets notifications, which is highly configurable to your own business.
Yeah.
And it just avoids that whole emailing a certain person and no one knows what's happened. It
Yeah.
drives reporting. You can get dashboards to show you, what work is on your plate at any point in time. So,
Mm.
it can hand over from estimating to project management. It's
Yeah.
pretty seamless. Everyone just knows where all the jobs are sitting. Click of a button, you're getting reports and that sort of thing as well.
Mm.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Mm.
Well, as I said, what we'll do for our listeners out there in the community, and I know you guys love this, is I'm going to catch up with Glenn and Tim outside of this, and we'll do some screen recordings, or get some screen recordings from the guys, because they do webinars on the platform every day. I should mention that. So if you ever wanted to do a demonstration with the guys, I'm sure you could reach out and do one, and free license. Who wouldn't want that? But I will get some screen shares and to what exactly Tim was speaking about, overlay this sort of podcast with that sort of thing as well, just to show you guys how it all works, because that's yeah, really cool.
Yeah, that's great. If you do need a demonstration, jump onto the iGyro website and you can book a demonstration there, book a meeting. But I did get distracted from your original question about the scheduling and the adverse weather as well, is that the Gantt charts, obviously, if you're not familiar with Gantt charts, is that when something changes on site, you're changing a task, moving that to a different date. And that can affect like a waterfall effect of all of your trades. So push everyone out by a week because of the adverse weather.
Yeah.
But the system also tracks the changes for each tradie or supplier that's involved in that process as well. And you've got an option then to bulk send and say, look, things have changed. Here's what the dates were. Here's the new dates. And that's an automated process for you.
Yeah. Imagine trying to do that in Asana, Tim.
Difficult.
Where no task is connected, no trade is connected. You can have some sort of calendar where you have to move every single one and guess sort of the days that it'll move. I'm envisaging in my head, and I have watched a few videos, that it's basically you can click and drag some particular element that has been played up by the weather, and everything else, as you said, just cascades and waterfalls from that and moves all that other work out and communicates it out to go, hey, this is what's going on.
That's right. Yep. So again, it's something you don't have to adopt in your business. You can make use of that if you think you can get the power out of that and get some value from doing that.
Yeah.
Some people just decide to use just a simple checklist. So they can use the Gantt chart. They don't have to use all of those features. They just have a list of tasks that they need to achieve and just tick them off.
Fantastic.
So yeah, can be as simple or as complex as you need it to be.
Yeah, amazing. Well, a lot of builders at the moment, they're always talking about time pressures, costs and everything like that. Glenn or Tim, what have you seen this platform provide the most benefit for some of your builders out there that use it? Where do they talk about the benefits the most? Is that a tricky one?
No, it's easy, mate. Look, every builder's got the same three problems, right? You've got the front end sales process, how to manage that. You've then got to deliver your product. You've got to deliver the housing, and then you have to get financial clarity. Am I making money or losing it? So if you distill it down, they're the three big problems. Now, this software answers or has the solution to those three problems.
Yeah.
But for a single operator, and just coming back to this point about why it's free for a single user.
Yeah, young one.
Single user, it'd be a unicorn builder that's a single user and adopts software like this, because they're only going to adopt it if they've got a vision for their business that involves growth and involves other people working in the business, right?
Yeah.
So they're unlikely to do the sales themselves or whatever. They're unlikely to do the supervision or manage the accounting side of things. So you need a platform that lets everyone have access to the data and know what the business is doing. So it's really someone with a vision like that that's going to take this on and roll it out through the business. Yeah. So anyone that's serious about their business is going to grow into a multi-user over time.
Absolutely.
And that's where the power emerges, mate, because as a single operator, you can do most of it in your head, really, if you're focused. And
Yeah.
it's hard to justify using the software if it's only you.
Yeah, I get that.
If there's 3 to 5 of you, it just becomes a no-brainer. And that's where the real power emerges over time with systems is when there's multiple people.
Yeah, no, it makes absolute sense, Glenn. So in terms of like the number of builds that the average builder that's using this, do you have an idea or an indication of the platform? Or as you said, Glenn, is it from monsters that are building thousands per year down to, as you said, the single user unicorn that may exist or may not exist out there in the ethos?
Yeah, I don't think average number of builds is really relevant because the software is applicable to either one of those businesses, and even into the spectrum. It becomes more valuable for the larger operators because of the complexity of businesses like that. There's no other option.
Yeah. Well, in terms of the capability of this thing, is there an ability that it can sort of keep communication open with the client? So is there portal access in this thing? Like, have you guys seen Builder Trend?
Yeah.
But does it have a portal access like Builder Trend for customer communication and to keep up that customer experience, which is really key?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Ojyro does have a client portal.
Yeah, wow.
As you're suggesting there, like a client, it empowers them to see what's happening in the build.
Yeah.
So probably one of the biggest problems, I guess, you see with clients is that from their point of view, there's large chunks of time when nothing's occurring on their building site, and they start to get a bit panicky that nothing's happening.
Yes.
A client portal like what Ojyro has here is you allow the client to log in and they can see things that occur, like all of your task schedule that we spoke about before, like your workflow. Your clients can sort of see things as they're being achieved. So they can see the back end work, like the estimating work, the prepping for council, quote requests, and they can see these things are occurring behind the scenes. So they don't panic that nothing's happening. They can see there's a big puzzle being put together in the back end.
Yeah. So the visibility is fairly transparent for a client. And again, comparing to other software platforms that I've seen, some of it isn't so transparent. I've used platforms where you can just share a photo every now and again, but they don't see all the admin, as you said, all the estimating, all those things that are happening in the back end. So that provides a lot of clarity to the customer.
Yeah, well, it's not all of it, of course, mate, but it's the things we believe is going to help that client relationship.
Yeah, I love it.
Through the journey.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool because I think one of the biggest things, and I actually have seen a lot of stuff at the moment around this, is that, obviously the time to build a house has blown out significantly over the past few years, and it's not really kind of going back. I know the media does a lot of beating up, but there was one particular report that said it takes the average of about 11 months to build a home. You guys would probably know if I'm right or wrong on that, but this is what this media report said. I don't know what your software said, and you don't need to provide the data to me in that, but they were saying it's almost doubled in the last 10 years. And as a result, I was looking around all these social media platforms, Reddit, Facebook groups. I think I'm on every builder's Facebook group in Australia. And there was a lot of discussion, and why I brought up this portal piece that you guys have at iGyro around what is happening when you build and why is it taking so long. And it seems like it's one of the biggest hurdles for people to actually want to build now. So I think what you've done with the platform, with providing that clarity and transparency in the items, as Glenn said, that makes sense to the customer. Super cool.
So those things that Glenn was touching on there was like the photos that you said. So a project manager can upload client-facing photos, so you can choose what the clients see. So they can have client-facing ones where they're taking pictures of the build.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some issues that are on site which are not client-facing. You just want your team to be able to see those and rectify them.
Yeah.
But also, attachments and things, so clients can see the variations. But in terms of, say, the project schedule, generally set that up so that the clients are seeing it a couple of weeks in advance on the schedule. So they don't see everything. Otherwise, they think, okay, a milestone hasn't been hit. Why didn't that happen?
Yeah.
But you can sort of predict what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. And that's enough for the client to feel involved and have that transparency for them.
Yeah. And so basically, so you're giving more accurate communication to the client as well, because, like we said, weather impacts could shove things out and all that sort of stuff. So, no, I think that's very cool to have that sort of stuff. In terms of data and reporting, what kind of reporting can you get out of the software that you guys have created for the builder?
Just let's start with data and come back to reporting. Yeah. One of the things that people don't anticipate when they're building, when they're early in their building journey, is there's things they're going to need in 5 to 10 years' time to support clients.
Yeah.
So if you're around long enough, you start to see this, where a client reaches out in 10 years' time and says, "I'm renovating my kitchen. What was the benchtop color?" Now, if you're using software like this properly, you can go back and get that at the drop of a hat. And what the signal it sends to the market is very powerful. It's not only that, but if there's some friction about, this slab's got some issue, or, brickwork or something, you've got the historical data to back up that things were done correctly. You've got the site photos, you've got the engineer's reports. The smaller businesses really struggle with that because they panic and go, where are we going to find that information? You know what I mean? So the implementation of this is so powerful in the future.
Yeah.
Find the data and use it.
That's critical. It's critical, Glenn.
Really critical, and no one really ever thinks of it at the start.
Well, mate, I didn't. Like, it is. I'm so happy that you brought that up, because you can get yourself into a world of hurt as well.
Yeah. Because we've got a long curve in terms of maintaining and warranting buildings, and you just need access to information.
Yep. Yeah. Imagine you didn't. Like, as we said, using spreadsheets, Google Drives for photos, Dropboxes for photos that supervisors don't use.
Yeah, and it just gets embarrassing complicated.
Very cool, Glenn. Very cool. So in terms of data, it's not just the reports, get out in real time, like cash flow reports. It's actually, hey, how it can protect your business and predict some things.
Yeah, that's right. Now, in terms of reporting, mate, to come back to your original question, the reporting's endless. Reporting's only got value if the data's gone in, but as long as the software is being used to its real purpose, then your reporting is quite unlimited. One of the reports, say, I use regularly, compares my estimated cost for delivery of a task, say the brickwork on a home. I've got an estimated cost for that, an ordered cost, and then an actual cost. So at the end of every job, we'll open up the ordered and the actual and just be looking for the anomalies in that process to better inform our future estimating. Yeah. Now, without those sorts of functions, I don't know, the estimators are just this little box that's isolated from what's actually happening on site, and it unlocks a lot of visibility right across the business. So the reports are really endless, but that's an example of something I use very regularly.
Yeah. That's a pretty fine-grained one down to an individual job. Whereas if you're a larger builder, you may want to look back at the last 12 months worth of jobs, and there's reports built into the system that can do that and give you your gross margins across the board and see how they compare to what you anticipated, as Glenn was saying. And then you can drill down further and find out, what happened on that individual job to cause that to occur. But as Glenn was saying, unlimited amount of reports. So there's built-in reports, but there's also customized reports as well. So there's some customized reporting features in there that you can export to Excel and just use pivot tables to do what you need. For some larger builders, if you've got many staff as well, like you might have estimating accounts departments and things, you can use the reports to work out if someone's under load or a department's under load. So estimating and designers, for example, you could do like a KPI report to say, look, are all our tasks being completed on time for this estimating department? If they're not, you can try and work out why. So without that reporting, you're not going to be able to see that.
Yeah. Well, I thought, Glenn, what you had just said, and Tim, yourself too, mate, but what you said then was really good and really pertinent. What other challenges did you come up against that made you sort of create this thing? Like, what other considerations are there that I might not ask you because I'm not so deep in the game, but you have as a builder, and as you talked about, what other things have you done there with the platform that's really cool? Like, and you should consider, like, I loved your point about the data, and like, let alone the platform itself, builders really got to consider that, don't they? They got to consider what they're doing with their past data. So if that is, they need a software platform to do that, well, as a unicorn single startup, then that might be your first task, just to make sure that you've got all your historical data there in case you come up against a question. That might be
the should get Tim to comment on this in terms of the security and privacy of that data.
And when you talked about, Glenn, the data side of things, mate, like you said, a lot of people don't think about it. I didn't think about it. As you were saying it, I was like, holy shit, that is so critical to a builder.
Yeah, so sure.
Security, Tim, tell us a little bit about that and the considerations around that, and why builders should consider security and software.
Yeah, I guess security is probably something that builders don't think about.
Yep.
And this may touch back on Australian software as well. Like, to some businesses, it may be important to know that their data is held in Australia. Using Australian data centers, it's not going overseas. So that's one very strong point for the Ojyro software there.
Very strong point. Yep.
But even backups. So, people that are using spreadsheets and things on their own local computers, a lot of people don't think about backups either. So if their computer dies, computer's stolen, they've lost that data, it's gone forever. A disaster, really. Like, one, you've lost the data and people have got access to that data. But two, you can't get it back. Like, it could be 10 years worth of work and it's all gone. So Ojyro is looking after all that for you. You've got the security in Australian data centers, world-class data centers.
Yeah.
That's all backed up as well. So you don't need to worry. If you've got your information in the software, your office building can burn down. You're not losing paper files. You're not losing your computers. It's all in the cloud. You just buy a new computer, fire it up and log in, and there it is.
Yep.
Using industry standard, security to make sure that everything's nice and safe, and two-factor authentication, as with most software these days.
Yep.
So it's always something the builders overlook.
Yeah, and it's critical. I don't know if you guys saw, we did an article earlier this year. It would have been probably around August, maybe September. Metricon security, their security was done by a group on the dark web, and they had all their stuff online. So basically they had credit card numbers. I saw screenshots of it. Credit card numbers with their CCV numbers, amounts these credit numbers were worth. There was data on how much their builds were, how much their materials cost. It was everything. And I started to think about it, and I was like, why wouldn't these evil people that hack systems aim for builders? Of course you would. There's a lot of good data in there that they could get. Financials, a lot of stuff like that. So, Glenn, I'm really glad that you had asked Tim, and Tim, thank you for the explanation around security, because it is critical nowadays. Did you guys
I think builders are the absolute top of the list.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of all businesses in Australia that they're going after these sorts of operators.
I reckon you'd 100%.
Builders are on top of the list. And
yeah.
That's one of the reasons why when we're working with the builders, we try and get them to bring in password management system as the very first thing they do, because we know that they're going to be targeted.
Yeah, that is a critical.
To come back to your question about some of the other things, reasons why we developed it and things people might overlook. One of the things for a bigger business, multi-department, say 20 or more staff, someone in management's actually trying to work out if jobs are moving. So you can lose sleep at night thinking, is that where's it up to? Should it been too long in council? Has it been too long in estimating? Is it overdue on site? This software allows you to get the high level triggers if a job hasn't achieved certain milestones that considered normal. Like I need to know in management if that job's been in council too long, I need it to move. And same with site, same with admin, every aspect of the business. Where are the touch points that as a manager I need to focus on fixing? Yeah. And without a software platform like this, you're just losing a lot of sleep trying to work that out. So
well, you can't really manage it, can you, or measure it? You don't really know. And builders, I think, as you said, Glenn and Tim, I think it's one of the hardest professions in the world, and there's so many things in your head. It's easy to let things slip. And if you you're not chasing up the council when you let things slip, then the client's got another week in council and they're not getting their build, it just becomes a massive headache. So that's another really good point. Like there's beyond the estimating, it just makes your life easier as well, software.
Sure. Yeah. It allows you, like, you just can't be across all of it with a bigger business. Okay. It's hard enough with a micro business. So as your business grows, this software is telling you the things you should focus on because maybe there's something wrong with that job. Been in council too long. It's been on site too long in terms of the critical stages through the build. Why has it taken so long to go from slab down to roof on? So you can say, well, do I need to work with the supervisor here to bring their skills up? And it's just the software is telling you all this. There's no one, quite difficult to get the information without it.
Oh, 100%. And especially in any meaningful form, like you said, as a report. So you could look at your snapshot of the builds over the last 12 months. Where are the kinks?
Yeah.
Where are the problems in the business? How do you improve the business? That's another thing, business improvement. Obviously, software helps with as well. Do you guys have any other interesting things that people wouldn't think about? I actually love it. I love the way you have created this because it's, you're doing it from experience and things that just make sense, like to people who have actually do it in the field, and thinking about like, so anything else, Glenn or Tim, why you created this, or things that builders should consider?
A big reason, I don't know how often it really happens, but every couple of months I come across a builder that's a lot larger than you'd expect to have paper-based systems.
Yep.
So we see that more often than you think, in that a really large business is still printing everything out. It's still on paper. Everything's hand signed. So if you're adopting all of these systems that we've got here, you can essentially go to a paperless platform altogether. So you may not really think too much about that these days, but there are lots of businesses that are still doing it. We brought one on not so long ago, a large business, and they still had filing cabinets full of these documents, thinking if this place burnt down, all that's gone. Even client signatures, they're still printing them all out and hand signing, whereas we've got e-signing capabilities in the software where you can send that out to a client remotely, get that signed within minutes, and it's all back in. So there's so many benefits to adopting these systems, especially if you haven't really taken on technology through the years. So no matter where you're at, there's some value adds that you can have by adopting an all-in-one software solution.
And the cool thing, what I love about the conversation we're having now is that I think a lot of, like, you see a lot of other softwares, and I love this chat because a lot of other softwares that we've spoken to in the past, and as I said, in my building experience, they'd come at you with things like, oh, we got best takeoffs and best estimating and things like that. And I think every platform can kind of do that in a way. And it's like all these other things that you guys have thought of that really make a difference in a builder's business. And sometimes I think maybe even the selling point of why they're trying to sell the platform. I'm not trying to bag other brands, but maybe the wrong thing. Like when you guys start talking about data and you start talking about security and the right sort of reasons, you can see you guys are coming from a good place of why you developed the software and where it's come from as well, and how it really benefits builders, like foundationally. I don't think you're asking builders like to jump on and take every feature on and try and make it run their business. You're kind of going, hey, maybe first of all, for Mr. and Mrs. Small Builder, maybe consider your security. And did you know software does that because it does this? And I love that about it. And that's why I was so keen to delve a little bit deeper with like other things that, as you said, people don't consider.
Yeah, it's an important myth to blow, as like it's not actually easy, the adoption of software. I think anyone that tells you this is going to be easy, it's easy enough and it's worth doing, but it's not easy. It takes time. It takes some headspace. It's anything new is usually challenging. So you've got to be doing it for the right reasons and get the big picture. And then I think it's easy enough, and we make that as easy as we can, but we're not foolish enough to say that it's easy. It's easy to take one element of the software and become familiar with it and use it, but it's not easy to implement a business-wide comprehensive system like that. It takes many months, if not years, it's an ongoing task really to get full features out of software like this.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And we've got a lot of small and medium builders that listen to us. It's like just start with, I want them to start thinking about like their security, number one, and their data. Just those things. Just maybe sign up to a free version of iGyro just to consider that, and starting to put your data in there. So if things do burn down or you lose that bit of paper, it's there. So I absolutely get it, Glenn. And in
Mm.
terms of, like you said, that software is fairly hard to implement into a business. And I do talk to a lot of builders, and some say they're sometimes hesitant to bring software into a business. Why do you think that is? Is it because it's hard, the change management, they don't know what they're getting?
Oh, it's anything new, mate. I mean, have you tried to change your iPhone lately, or change
Yeah,
your laptop, or just anything you touch that's new has got obstacles, and
yeah,
like this
yeah,
is achievable, and it's easy enough. I mean, we're builders. We're not, apart from Tim, we're not made for tech. We're made
yeah,
for site, and so the software is functional. You can implement it, but you've
yeah,
got to recognize that you're doing it for a reason. I see short-sighted guys have a crack at this and go, it's all too hard. I just go
yeah,
back to my sheet of my whiteboard, and that's fair enough if that works, but it's not. It's not going to allow you to scale the business. It's not going to give you visibility and data security and all the things we've talked about.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're onboarding somebody, how does it go about when you're onboarding someone to iGyro? You've got a range of videos and things like that. Do they, if depending on the feature and I guess, I don't think you guys, customization is the wrong word, but in terms of the features and how big the product is going to be for a builder, are there different tiers of training and things that you guys offer?
Yeah, we have onboarding. So especially if you're a larger business, so a
Yeah,
smaller business with one or two people, they're probably going to onboard themselves. They can
yeah,
jump in and they
yeah,
can set the simple parts up that they need for their business. As you get more
Mm.
complex, obviously there's guides. So we've got video help, which should
yeah,
put you towards videos to watch, and then we could have regular video calls. So especially for larger businesses that want to get going quickly, we generally
yeah,
set video calls, set goals together, and sit
yeah,
down and work out a game plan, I suppose, to implement into your business, usually
yeah,
by department,
yeah,
or another method. But we just try and set those video goals. Say, this week we're going to achieve this. We'll catch up, see how that went, work through any problems that they've had, and get that sorted, and then move on to
Mm.
the next goal.
Mm.
yeah,
So it depends how quickly you want to integrate that into your business. So
yeah,
some people can do it all themselves. Others will sit down and have those video calls one-on-one.
yeah, fantastic. And finally, for any builder that's looking, for a piece of software, what do you think is some of the big impacts that a builder could see over the next few months if they implemented a piece of software? I think we kind of hit on a bit of it. Increased security, not getting everyone hacked is a pretty good benefit. And your customers getting angry because someone in Russia's got your credit card. But beside that, what sort of benefit do you guys see?
Yeah, look, as the primary benefit here, if you drill it all down, is peace of mind. 'Cause I watch clients guys are running sites, and they're trying to do that out of their head, off their phone, and all of a sudden you say you use site scheduling software where you can populate the data there about when I called that up and how long it's going to take potentially and what the next steps are. It just all of a sudden all this stress drains out of people,
Yeah,
and it's the same for every department. Sales, estimating, accounting, managers. It's just about de-stressing the whole process. That's the ultimate thing we're trying to achieve here. You're not trying to add complexity or whatever. You're trying to de-stress your life, and that's what software properly used is going to do. I've seen that over and over again.
again, I love the
Mm.
answer, Glenn. When I have talked to people in the past, and it's been, you get faster quoting and all these little things, but I think peace of mind in the end. We're doing a lot at the Good Builder around mindset at the moment,
Mm.
and we're trying to provide tools to the market on mindset. So you might have seen we just dropped a podcast with Todd Carney and Mitchell Pearce around this Mindset Academy, right? And I love that stuff. I get that stuff.
Sure.
But I think there's a piece of the puzzle that comes even before that stuff, because you get there when you need a mindset coach and you need to calm yourself down and you feel like you're stressed. If you don't get the problem, which is usually the organization of your business, the
Sure.
busyness of yourself
Yeah.
and stress related stuff, then any mindset coach in the world will never help you because there's a problem there. So I love your answer, Glenn. You're a very, I like it. You're a very thoughtful man, mate. Like this whole pod, you've been bringing up a few cool points that are very thoughtful and considered in not just spruiking a piece of software. And same with you.
I think if our clients can sleep better at night as we've done our job, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because builders lie there in bed churning about all the tasks, not only builders, all small business owners. But if your mind can be at ease because the system is doing heavy lifting for you, then
that's it.
Then we've done
that's why you created it. That was the why behind iGyro.
Yeah, 100%.
Love it. I think that's super cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for today. In terms of people getting in touch, should they just head to the website if they want to sign up to a free trial, or if they want something larger? There's obviously, I've seen it, contact forms and everything there, so they just go through there and Tim or somebody will get in touch with them. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the listeners? I think it's a great platform. It's been a really interesting chat because, as I said, we weren't just answering the normal generic questions because you came out with some pearlers on how it actually helps builders and foundationally, which I think is super important. But is there anything else that the listeners should know about iGyro before we jump off?
To a lesser extent, Glenn's probably touched the biggest one about the stressor. To a lesser extent, there's some flexibility as well. So we spoke about builders that have got paper-based systems, and they have to attend the office to do things. We live in a remote-first world these days. So even some businesses that already do have software in their system for quite some time, they may have a software that's bound to the office, like it's an office server or something like that, which doesn't really facilitate remote working. If your software's doing that fully remote, you can work from anywhere, from home, from the site, from wherever you need to. So it's another big benefit to adopting a cloud-based platform like iGyro.
Yeah, mate, huge benefits. Well, as I said, guys, honestly, builders out there, first 3 that sign up to this platform, I'll give a free podcast to on the Good Builder. That's not on you guys. I want to do a podcast with them and we'll have a bit of a chat around the software as well. So I'll chuck that offer out for you guys because I think you guys are legends and I think it's a great piece of software. And I'm so excited for the way that you guys have considered this. But otherwise, thank you so much for today, Glenn and Tim. That was a really insightful chat, not your generic software chat. So I was really cool with that.
Thank you, man. Pleasure.